morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. You guys, I was listening to this audio this morning that has me thinking. And the question is, does your mindset have you broke? And where does that mindset come from, right? So I was listening to Bob Proctor. There we go. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I've been listening to it for the last couple of days. But one of the things that he said while I was taking a run today with Luna, and he started saying, like, for you to think about how you were raised, right? How were you raised? Were you raised by a family that values money? Or were you raised by a family that thinks money is the root of all evil? Or were you raised by a family that always talks about lack? And he was talking about the fact that, one of the things that, I'm not saying that everything, the way that you were raised impacts the way that you are today, but it plays a big part. And the reason being is because when you're young, you are a complete and total sponge, right? You are a complete and total sponge where whatever your parents say, that becomes your reality. And then as you grow up and as you get older and as you start to think about, or get exposed to other things, you start thinking about other possibilities and you start thinking about other things that could be a better alternative, right? If you will. And so, I'm going to share with you guys, I'll be vulnerable, okay? I'm going to share with you guys, when we were raised, and I hope my mom is watching this is no judgment, Mom, but we were not ever, I don't remember really talking about money growing up. Like, I don't remember my parents ever really saying oh, you should save, or, oh, I don't really remember them talking too much about it. So, as a result, I think I never really had a concept whether money was good or bad. What I do know, and this is something that, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, okay? But my dad used to always tell us that we were rich, right? And we were not rich, by the way. My dad used to always tell us that we were rich and that we were rich because we had health and love and things like that. And so as a result of that, I'm looking for my credit card because my husband doesn't pump gas for me anymore. Sergio, if you're watching this, I miss you pumping my gas. I'm going to get a whole message about why he doesn't pump it anymore. Anyway, and so my parents never really talked to me about money. Was it good? Was it bad? They never talked about it. So growing up, you guys, I started to think about money like there was always enough of it, right? And what happened was when I started building my own business, when I started building my own business, I started to make good amount of income. And guess what I did? I didn't value my hard work. I didn't value the money. And as fast as it came in is as fast as I pretty much would spend it. Okay. And I'm not blaming my parents. I'm not blaming anybody. It's just that I never really had a concept oh, maybe I should, save some money of what I'm spending, of what I'm earning. So what happened was I got to Millionaire Team, which is a position in the business, pretty fast. And I was making, this is not typical, okay, but very possible if you do a lot of hard work and dedication. I was making within about a year and a half, I was making over $8,000 a month. Okay, $8,000 a month is pretty good money regardless. But imagine being single, making that kind of money. Honey, I was having so much fun. I was traveling like crazy. I was shopping like crazy. Hold on a second here, because I now have to pump my own gas because my husband doesn't pump my gas anymore. Anyway, and so what happened was I started to spend money like crazy. I remember one month I looked at my statements, and let's just say I made, just for easy numbers, let's say I made $10,000 and I spent $9,000. Okay. And I was like, where did all that go? And here's what I'm going to invite you to think about, is to think about, what is your relationship with money? What is your relationship with wealth, right? Do you feel like only certain people can attract wealth and that's not you? Or do you feel like, oh, well, people that have money are mean? If you have a negative connotation with money, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to attract it, okay? Or if you think you have to work hard for your money. And if you don't want to work hard, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to attract it. Okay, now do you have to work? Absolutely. But what I'm going to invite all of us to do is to start to think about and to start being conscious of how you think about money. Okay, so here's another limiting belief for me. Ooh, I'm just being all kinds of vulnerable here, right? One of my limiting beliefs, okay, and I say is because I'm still working on it, and that is that if you have a lot of money, if you are successful, I should say, if I have a lot of money, if I'm successful, then I will be alone. Okay, that's not a good thing to think about, especially when I love being around people. So, like, I want you to think about what are those limiting beliefs that you have in your mind that are preventing you from attracting or from having the kind of life and the kind of income and wealth that you want. Okay, because a lot of people say, I want to have my own business. A lot of people think like, I want to own my own, I want to have my own financial freedom. I want to be able to shop and pump gas at $5.37. Freaking ridiculous, okay? I don't even know how much gas is normally, but I looked, okay? Ridiculous, okay? And I'm going to pump right now like 20 something gallons. Right? How many people say, oh my God, I can only do $5? That used to be me. I remember being in college and like going to the gas station and think like, I can only do $5. I can only do $10. Or I would give the guy like $20 bill and I would say, can you just put 10? And then he would give me $10 back and I would go pump just $10, just enough to get me through a couple of days. I couldn't fill up my tank like I am right now without stressing out. I couldn't even do it. Okay? But guess what happened? I had to start changing the way that I think. I had to start changing the way that I view life. I had to start changing the way that I view money. I had to start changing the way that I view what is possible for me in order to attract it. Okay? So we are in February of 2022. We're second month of the second chapter of 2022. Are you conscious of the things that you are doing every single day? Okay? And I know it's not easy to constantly be like self-reflecting, to constantly be thinking like, okay, what am I doing? Am I moving closer to my goals, etc.? You know, I told you guys a couple days ago that I did this, an evaluation, a self-evaluation for the month of January. And I was like a little disappointed with myself because I didn't accomplish the goals that I wanted to accomplish. And, you know, I didn't do the things that I said I was going to do. But here's the thing, right? If I would have waited until December to recognize that, then I would have wasted literally a whole year, okay? From the moment I started the year to the moment I reflected it, there goes 12 months. Okay? But if you stop and think, even if you do it every month, I'm going to invite you to do it every week, minimum every week, right? We really should do it every day, but I'm not going to tell you to do something I'm not doing. So I'm doing every Sunday. Every Sunday I start to look, I'm like, okay, how did this week go? What did I say I was going to do? And did I do it? Right? And there's a couple of things that I keep putting zeros next to, right? And I was like, come on, Karla, right? So, but guess what? At least I'm aware of it. So now I can start changing it. So I'm going to invite every single one of us, including myself, to start thinking about, number one, what do you want for 2022? Financially, like how much money do you want to bring to your life? And don't say I want to make a lot of money, because that's not, your brain cannot. So here's the thing, right? We have a conscious mind, we have a subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, all it does is it receives orders and executes. So if you say like, why am I so dumb? Then your brain's going to go, let me tell you why you are so dumb. Or if you think like, why am I broke? Your brain's going to be like, let me tell you, right? Or like, I can never be rich. Then your brain's going to go, okay, let's make sure that happens. Okay? Let that sink in. Your unconscious mind will never argue with you. It's never going to say, no, you're not dumb. Let me tell you that you're so smart and let me tell you all the reasons. No, your unconscious mind cannot think. The only part of your brain that can think is this frontal lobe. Okay, that's it. Everything else just commands. It obeys your command. So you got to be so careful what you think about. And look, I'm talking to myself too, okay? Because don't think I don't have limiting beliefs and limiting thoughts and stupid thoughts, right? I have them too. But here's the thing, right? How can you interrupt them to change them? So number one, what do you want? And let's be as specific as possible. I love what he said this morning. He said, you need to think about not only how much money do you want to make, but for what? For what? Like, think about, okay, where do I want to live? What do I want to drive? Okay. And then once you think about like, for what you want that money, now give it a number. Okay, now give it a number. Hi, girl. I hope you're going to come visit me before you go to Santa Barbara. But think about like, okay, so number one, how much money do you want to make? How much money do you want to make every single month? Okay. And then, so that number can change. Maybe for you right now, it could be like 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. And then like, once you have that and you start to expand your mindset even more, that can go to 20,000, 30,000. I don't know. Okay. But number one, how much money do you want? Number two, for what? Like, what do you want that money for? Okay. What do you want that money for? Number two. Okay. You got to attach some kind of reward or feeling, because you don't want a bunch of paper with, and I know some of you guys say, yes, I do. You don't want paper. Okay, good. I'm glad you're going to stop by. You're going to love my shop, okay? I'm going to make you a delicious shake. Anyway, you don't want paper with a bunch of dead presidents on it. I know some of you are like, yes, I do. No, you don't. What you want is what that paper will do for you and what it will give you, okay? So number two, what do you want it for, okay? And then number three, and this is the thing that I was like, I need to do this. Start to visualize it. Start to think about it. Start to visualize that and start to speak as if you already have it. Now, I have heard this, I don't know how many times. Okay, I'm sure you have too. Well, let me see if my dad's still there. No. I don't know how many times I have heard that. Like, you got to think about it, visualize it, see yourself and declare it. Like, thank you for my whatever, $2,000 a month income. Thank you for my $20,000 a month income, whatever it is. You have to visualize it and declare it. And to start, because then your brain, your subconscious brain will say, okay, so we make $20,000 a month. Okay, let's get to it. What do we got to do to be able to attract it? Like, it's going to start to take actions because it thinks that you already have it. Okay? So that was like, I know I've heard that like 1,000 times, but I don't know why this morning I heard it differently. Well, I'll tell you why I heard it differently. Okay. I heard the audio after I worked out. Normally, I listen to personal development. Like, as soon as I wake up, I'm listening to it. Okay. And that's effective too, because your mind is still like not completely awake. And so the beta rays of your brain are like very sensitive. So you can absorb it a lot better. But I worked out. I took prepare and lift off. Okay, so hello. Then I went to go work out. I went to go run with Luna around the corner, and as I was walking / running, I was listening to it. And I think as my brain had so much oxygen, maybe like I heard it differently. I was like, you know what? Hi. I was like, you know what? That is so true. We stay broke because we keep acting as our old, okay, here we go. Ready? This is a deep. Ready? Here we go. We keep acting as our old self knows us to be. Okay? We keep acting and thinking as our old self knows us to be. And so therefore, our brain doesn't do any new pattern waves. It keeps firing off the same pattern waves that you've always fired off, that has you continuing to be as we are. Oh, that was a mouthful. So if you are listening to this, I can assume that it's because you want to become better, you want to have more, you want to do more, you want to attract more, you want to, live a better life, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I invite all of us to take on those 3 steps. Number 1, how much money do you want? And like, don't just put a number out there. Like, really think, give it some thought. Number 2, what do you want that money for? Like, attach some type of feeling and emotion. Like, what are you going to do with that money? Like, if you don't just say, I want to make $30,000. No, like, for what? Why? Okay. And then number 3, start to visualize it. See yourself, speak as if you already have it. And let me know how it goes. Okay. All right, I'm here